Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare.
Be sure to subscribe to our channel. We publish new videos every day. Don't forget, grab your smartphone and download the Lava Matra app and stay in touch. Guru Mahāraja's message is your advantage. The following is a Sri Kṛṣṇa Caitanya book compilation given by His Holiness Jayapataka Swami Mahārāja on February 4th, 2021 in Sri Mayapur, India.
Angulang Gayategaram Yatithātaman Mande Sri Gurum Nidanam Paramananda Madhavam Sri Caitanya Isram Harihi Om Tat Sat.
Sri Kṛṣṇa Caitanya book compilation. Today's chapter entitled as Falashruti, the result of hearing the talks between Sri Caitanya Mahāprabhu and Rāmānanda Rāya.
প্রভু রামানন্দ সংবাদ একটি বৃহৎ ধাতব দ্রব্যের খনি, তথায় মূল্যভেদে বহু ধাতুর প্রকাশ। নিগুড় ব্রজের রস লীলার বিচার, অনেক কহিল তার না পাইল পার।
The conversations between Rāmānanda Rāya and Sri Caitanya Mahaprabhu contain the most confidential subject matters touching the conjugal love between Radha and Kṛṣṇa in Vrindavana, Brajabhumi. Although they talked at great length about these pastimes, they could not reach the limit of discussion.
অপ্রাকৃত পঞ্চরসের উপমা, তামা কাঁসা রূপা সোনা রত্ন চিন্তামণি, কেহ যদি কাহা পেত পায় একখানি।
Actually, these conversations are like a great mine where, from a single place, one can extract all kinds of metals, copper, bell metal, silver and gold, and also touchstone, the basis of all metals. Purport by Srila Prabhupada. Srila Bhakti Vinod Thakura gives the following summary of the conversations between Rāmānanda Rāya and Sri Caitanya Mahaprabhu. Rāmānanda Rāya replied to 5 questions of Sri Caitanya Mahaprabhu, and these questions and their replies are recorded in verses 57 to 67. The first answer is compared to copper, the second to a bell metal, the third to still better metal, silver, and the fourth to the best metal of all, gold. But the fifth answer is compared to the most valuable gem, touchstone, because it deals with unalloyed devotion, the ultimate goal of devotional life, and eliminates the preceding 4 subordinate answers.
Srila Bhakti Siddhanta Saraswati Thakur points out that in Brajabhumi there is the Yamuna river with its sandy banks. There are Kadamba trees, cows, Kṛṣṇa sticks with which he herds cows, and Kṛṣṇa's flute. All of these belongs to Santa Rasa, the mellow of neutrality in devotional service. There are also the direct servants of Kṛṣṇa, such as Chitraka, Patraka and Raktaka, and these are the embodiments of service in the mellow of servitude. There are also friends like Sridama and Sudama, who embody service in fraternity. Nanda Maharaj and Mother Yasoda are the embodiments of parental love. Above all of these are Srimati Radharani and her assistants, the gopis Lalita, Vishaka and others, who embody conjugal love. In this way, all 5 mellows, Santa Dasha, Shakya, Vatsalya and Madhurya, exist eternally in Brajabhumi. They are also compared respectively to copper, bell metal, silver, gold and touchstones, the basis of all metals. Srila Kaviraj Goswami therefore refers to a mine eternally existing in Vrindavan, Brajabhumi.
So, in that discussions between Rāmānanda Rāya and Lord Caitanya,
So in the discussion between Rāmānanda Rāya and Lord Caitanya,
all the aspects of bhakti are brought up.
all the aspects of bhakti are brought up.
And also the highest form of bhakti, complete surrender and conjugal love.
And also the highest form of bhakti of conjugal, complete form of surrender and conjugal love.
So the discussions between Rāmānanda Rāya and Lord Caitanya
So the discussion between Lord Caitanya and Rāmānanda Rāya
are extremely confidential,
are extremely confidential,
and they have reached higher topics.
and they have reached the highest topic.
So hearing these discussions is special mercy.
So hearing this discussion is a special mercy.
ক্রমে উঠাইতে সেহ উত্তম বস্তু পাই, ওইছে প্রশ্ন উত্তর কইল প্রভু রাম রায়।
Sri Caitanya Mahāprabhu and Rāmānanda Rāya worked like miners, excavating all kinds of valuable metals, each one better than the other. Their questions and answers are exactly like that.
রায়ের নিকট প্রভুর বিদায় গ্রহণ ও আদেশ যাপন। আর দিন রায় পাশে বিদায় মাগিলা, বিদায়ের কালে তারি এই আজ্ঞা দিলা।
The next day, Sri Caitanya Mahaprabhu begged Rāmānanda Rāya to give him permission to leave. And at the time of farewell, the Lord gave him the following orders.
রায়কে নীলাচলে যাইতে আদেশ ও তথায় পুনর্মিলনে কৃষ্ণ কথা আলাপ সুযোগ। বিষয় ছাড়িয়া তুমি যাহ নীলাচলে, আমি তীর্থ করি তাহা আসিব অল্প কালে।
Sri Caitanya Mahaprabhu told him, "Give up all material engagement and come to Jagannath Puri. I will return there very soon after finishing my tour and pilgrimage."
দুইজনে নীলাচলে রহিব এক সঙ্গে, সুখে গুঙাইব কাল কৃষ্ণ কথা রঙ্গে।
The two of us shall remain together at Jagannath Puri and happily pass our time discussing Krishna.
এত বলি রামানন্দে করি আলিঙ্গন, তারে ঘরে পাঠাইয়া করিল শয়ন।
Sri Caitanya Mahaprabhu then embraced Sri Rāmānanda Rāya, and after sending him back to his home, the Lord took rest.
So Lord Caitanya ordered Rāmānanda Rāya
So Lord Caitanya ordered Rāmānanda Rāya to meet him at Jagannath Puri.
There they would discuss Krishna Katha.
And there they would discuss Krishna Katha.
ব্রজাঙ্গ জিউর দর্শনান্তে প্রভুর দক্ষিণ যাত্রা। প্রাতকালে উঠি প্রভু দেখি হনুমান, তারে নমস্ করি প্রভু দক্ষিণ করিলা প্রয়াণ।
After rising from bed the next morning, Sri Caitanya Mahaprabhu visited the local temple, where there was a deity of Hanuman. After offering him obeisances, the Lord departed for South India. Purport: in almost all the cities and towns of India, there are temples of Hanumanji, the eternal servant of Lord Ramachandra. There is even a temple of Hanuman near Govindaji temple in Vrindavan. Formerly, this temple was in front of the Gopalji temple, but the Gopalji deity went to Orissa to remain as Sakshi Gopal. Being the eternal servant of Lord Ramachandra, Hanumanji has been respectfully worshipped for many hundreds and thousands of years. Here, even Lord Caitanya Mahaprabhu set the example in showing how one should offer respect to Hanumanji.
They did a study in India.
They did a study in India.
There are more temples of Hanuman
There are more temples of Hanuman
than any other deity.
than any other deity.
I want to study. So, offering our respect to Hanuman
So offering our respect to Hanuman
is the way that we can get the blessings of the Ram of Lord Krishna.
is a way of getting the blessings of Lord Ram and Lord Krishna.
প্রভু দর্শনে সমগ্র বিদ্যানগর বাসীর বৈষ্ণবতা বিদ্যাপুরে নানা মত লোক বৈশে যত প্রভু দর্শনে বৈষ্ণব হইল ছাড়ি নিজ মত
All the residents of Vidyanagar were of different faiths, but after seeing Sri Caitanya Mahaprabhu, they abandoned their own faiths and became Vaishnavas.
Lord Chaitanya, he has so much influence
Lord Chaitanya, he has so much of influence
that everyone
that everyone by seeing him,
man, women, old men, children,
man, women, old men, children,
they all became Vaishnavas.
they all became Vaishnavas.
So this was the desire of Srila Prabhupada.
This was the desire of Srila Prabhupada.
We should extend the Krishna conscious movement, Lord Chaitanya's instructions,
We should expand Krishna consciousness movement, Lord Chaitanya's instructions
all over the world,
all over the world,
every town and village.
every town and village.
প্রভুর বিরহে রায়ের অবস্থা রামানন্দ হইলা প্রভুর বিরহে বিহল প্রভুর ধ্যানে রহে বিষয় ছাড়িয়া সকল
When Rāmānanda Rāya began to feel separation from Sri Caitanya Mahaprabhu, he was overwhelmed. Meditating on the Lord, he gave up all his material business.
So this is the secret of advancing in Krishna consciousness.
So this is the secret of advancing in Krishna consciousness.
By meditating on Lord Chaitanya,
By meditating on Lord Chaitanya,
one can become detached from all things material.
one can become detached from all the things which are material.
গ্রন্থে প্রভুর রামানন্দ সংবাদ সংক্ষেপেই বর্ণিত সংক্ষেপে কহিল রামানন্দের মিলন বিস্তারি বর্ণিতে নারে সহস্রবদন
I have briefly described the meeting between Sri Caitanya Mahaprabhu and Rāmānanda Rāya. No one can actually describe this meeting exhaustively. It is even impossible for Lord Seshanaga, who has thousands of hoods.
In other words, the discussions between Rāmānanda Rāya and Lord Sri Krishna Chaitanya
In other words, the discussion between Rāmānanda Rāya and Lord Sri Krishna Chaitanya
was such that
was such that
even Seshanaga with his thousands of heads
even Seshanaga with his thousands of heads
cannot describe all the things.
cannot describe all the things.
So here, Krishnadas Kaviraj
So here Krishnadas Kaviraj
has explained a portion.
has explained a portion
Yurasa, a little verse.
to give us a little verse.
চৈতন্য লীলা রায় চরিত্র ও রাধাকৃষ্ণ লীলার পরস্পরের সম্বন্ধ এবং অতি সৌভাগ্যবানেরাই এই লীলায় অধিকার ও সুযোগ সহজে চৈতন্য চরিত্র ঘন দুগ্ধপুর রামানন্দ চরিত্র তাহে খণ্ড প্রচুর
The activities of Sri Caitanya Mahaprabhu are like condensed milk, and the activities of Rāmānanda Rāya are like large quantities of sugar candy.
When you mix sugar candy with condensed milk,
When you mix sugar candy with condensed milk,
you get a very sweet and delicious combination.
you will get a very sweet and delicious combination.
রাধাকৃষ্ণ লীলা তাতে কর্পূর মিলন ভাগ্যবান যেই সেই করে আস্বাদন
Their meeting is exactly like a mixture of condensed milk and sugar candy. When they talk of the pastimes of Radha and Krishna, camphor is added. One who tastes this combined preparation is most fortunate.
যে ইহা একবার পিয়ে কর্ণদ্বারে তার কর্ণ লোভে ইয়া ছাড়িতে না পারে।
This wonderful preparation has to be taken orally. If one takes it, he becomes greedy to relish it even further.
So this discussion between Lord Caitanya and Rāmānanda Rāya
So this discussion between Lord Caitanya and Rāmānanda Rāya
has to be relished through the ear.
has to be relished through the ear.
And one becomes an advanced devotee
And one becomes an advanced devotee
as he is able to relish these pastimes
as he is able to relish this pastime
more and more.
more and more.
So these are very rare pastimes to witness.
So these are very rare pastimes to witness.
প্রভু রামানন্দ সংবাদ শ্রবণের ফল বর্ণন। রসতত্ত্ব জ্ঞান হয় ইহার শ্রবণে, প্রেম ভক্তি হয় রাধা কৃষ্ণের চরণে।
By hearing the talks between Rāmānanda Rāya and Sri Caitanya Mahāprabhu, one becomes enlightened with the transcendental knowledge of the mellows of Radha and Krishna's pastimes. Thus, one can develop unalloyed love for the lotus feet of Radha and Krishna.
So this is the fruit of listening to these pastimes, discussions between Sri Rāmānanda Rāya and Lord Sri Krishna Caitanya.
So this is the fruit of listening to the discussion of Sri Rāmānanda Rāya and Lord Sri Caitanya.
This way one can achieve unlike love for the lotus feet of Radha and Krishna.
In this way, one can attain unalloyed love for the lotus feet,
Deep unalloyed love.
deep unalloyed love for the lotus feet of Radha and Krishna.
চৈতন্যের গুড়তত্ত্ব জানি ইহা হইতে, বিশ্বাস করি শুনো তর্ক না করিহ চিত্তে।
The author requests every reader to hear these talks with faith and without argument. By studying them in this way, one will be able to understand the confidential truth of Sri Caitanya Mahāprabhu.
These discussions reveal the transcendental truth
This discussion reveals the transcendental truth
of Sri Caitanya Mahaprabhu.
of Sri Caitanya Mahāprabhu.
ভগবানের অচিন্ত ভাব তর্কাতীত, অলৌকিক লীলায়ে পরম নিগূঢ়, বিশ্বাসে পাইয়ে তর্কে না হয় বহু দূর।
This part of Sri Caitanya Mahaprabhu's pastimes is most confidential. One can derive benefit quickly only by faith. Otherwise, by arguing, one will always remain far away.
These are not subject matters that can be debated.
These are not subject matters that can be debated.
There's something to listen
There's something to listen
and have one's consciousness purified.
and have one's consciousness purified.
This way,
In this way,
one can have insight.
one can
To something which is
have insight for something which is
very confidential
very confidential
and not possible to understand by arguing or
and not possible
logic.
to understand by arguing or by logic.
নিতাই গৌর দত্তের ঐকান্তিক ভক্তেরই কৃষ্ণ প্রেম প্রাপ্য। চৈতন্য নিত্যানন্দ অদ্বৈত চরণ, যাহার সর্বস্ব তারে মিলে এই ধন।
He who has accepted as everything the lotus feet of Sri Caitanya Mahaprabhu, Nityananda Prabhu and Advaita Prabhu can attain this transcendental treasure. Purport: Srila Bhakti Siddhanta Saraswati Thakur says that Kṛṣṇa is obtainable for the faithful, but for those who are accustomed to argue, Kṛṣṇa is far, far away. Similarly, these talks between Rāmānanda Rāya and Sri Caitanya Mahāprabhu can be understood by a person who has firm faith. Those who are not in the disciplic succession, the Asrauta Panthis, cannot have faith in these talks. They are always doubting and engaging in mental concoctions. These talks cannot be understood by such whimsical people. Transcendental topics remain far, far away from those engaged in mundane arguments. In this regard, the Vedic mantras in the Kathopanishad 1.2.9 state, Naisha tarkena matir apaneya proktayenaiva sugyanaya preshta. According to the Mundaka Upanishad 3.2.3, all Vedic literatures declare that transcendental subjects cannot be understood simply by argument or logic. Spiritual matters are far above experimental knowledge. Only by Krishna's mercy can one who is interested in his transcendental loving affairs understand them. If one tries to understand these transcendental topics simply by using one's material brain substance, the attempt will be futile. Whether one is a Prakrta Sahajya or a mundane opportunist or a scholar, one's labor to understand these topics by mundane means will ultimately be frustrated. One therefore has to give up all mundane attempts and try to become a pure devotee of Lord Vishnu. When a devotee follows the regulative principles, the truth of these talks will be revealed to him. This is confirmed in the Bhakti Rasamrita Sindhu. One cannot understand the Lord's holy name, pastimes, form, qualities or entourage with one's blunt material senses. However, when the senses are purified by the constant rendering of service, the spiritual truth of the pastimes of Radha and Kṛṣṇa is revealed. As confirmed in Mundaka Upanishad, only one who is favored by the Supreme Personality of Godhead can understand the transcendental features of Sri Caitanya Mahaprabhu.
Lord Kṛṣṇa and Radharani are completely spiritual.
Lord Kṛṣṇa and Radharani are completely spiritual.
They don't have material bodies like we in the material world.
They don't have material bodies like we in the material world.
Their bodies are completely spiritual.
Their bodies are completely spiritual.
We have no experience
We have no experience
of such transcendental bodies.
of such transcendental bodies.
So we try to understand by our material experience,
So if we
logic, argument.
try to understand by our material experience, logic, arguments,
It's not possible.
it's not possible.
Only by rendering devotional service,
Only if I am rendering devotional service
these things be revealed by Kṛṣṇa.
can these things be revealed by Krishna.
রায়কে গ্রন্থকারের বন্দনা। রামানন্দ রায়ে মোর কোটি নমস্কার, যার মুখে কইল প্রভু রসের বিস্তার।
I offer 10 million obeisances unto the lotus feet of Sri Rāmānanda Rāya, because from his mouth much spiritual information has been expanded by Sri Caitanya Mahaprabhu.
দামোদর স্বরূপের কর্চা অনুসারে রামানন্দ মিলন লীলা করিল প্রচারে।
I have tried to preach the pastimes of Lord Sri Caitanya Mahaprabhu's meeting with Rāmānanda Rāya in accordance with the notebooks of Sri Swarup Damodar. But at the end of every chapter, the author admits the value of the disciplic succession. He never claims to have written this transcendental literature by carrying out research work. He simply admits his indebtedness to the notes taken by Swarup Damodar, Raghunath Das Goswami, and other authoritative persons. This is the way of writing transcendental literatures, which are never meant for so-called scholars and research workers. The process is Mahajana Yena Gatas Panta. One has to strictly follow great personalities and acharyas. Acharyavan Purusho Veda. One who has the favor of the acharya knows everything. This statement made by Kaviraj Goswami is very valuable for all pure devotees. Sometimes the Prakrita Sahajya claim that they have heard the truth from their Guru. But one cannot have transcendental knowledge simply by hearing from a Guru who is not a bona fide. The Guru must be bona fide, and he must have heard from his own bona fide Guru. Only then will his message be accepted as bona fide. Lord Krishna confirms this in the Bhagavad Gita 4.1. The Supreme Lord said, I instructed this imperishable science of yoga to the sun god, Vivaswan. And Vivaswan instructed it to Manu, the father of mankind. And Manu in turn instructed it to Ikshvaku. In this way, the message is transmitted in the bona fide spiritual disciplic succession from bona fide spiritual master to bona fide student. Srila Kaviraj Goswami, therefore, as usual, concludes this chapter by reasserting his faith in the lotus feet of the 6 Goswamis. Thus, he is able to set forth this transcendental literature, Sri Caitanya Charitamrita.
So, Kṛṣṇa Kaviraj Prabhu
So, just as Sri Kṛṣṇa Das Kaviraj Prabhu
have received this message from the Parampara,
has received this message from Parampara,
similarly, His Divine Grace, A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Prabhupada,
similarly, His Divine Grace A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Prabhupada
have received this message
has received this message
from a bona fide Guru Parampara.
from a bona fide Guru Parampara.
He has translated this into English
So, he had translated this into English
and given his purports.
and has given his purport.
So we are trying to transmit these instructions
So, we are trying to transmit these instructions
by compiling this history of Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu's teachings and
by compiling this history of Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu's pastimes. Thus ends the chapter entitled The Result of Hearing the Talks between Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu and Rāmānanda Rāya.
Hello.
Hari Bol.
Do you like our ad-free videos? Be sure to subscribe to our channel. We publish new videos every day, and don't forget to like and share our channel.